We're standing by live in Studio B with the Tennessee stud Ron Fuller and the Southeastern champion Jimmy Golden. As you know, the Southeastern Championship match scheduled for the first match on today's show has been postponed because Austin Idol's not here. We wanted to talk to the champion and his manager to see exactly what their thoughts are at this time in the show.
We wondered where he's at.
Well, everybody's wondering.
We got all day here. Let's get him out here, boy. We got
Austin Idol last week. Wasn't he out here making a fool of himself last week?
Well, I wouldn't say
explaining that he wanted all of his fans to see him win the championship right on television. Now he has that opportunity. We were ready. The first match of today's program, we wanted to go in the ring and defeat Austin Idol in front of millions of fans right here on television. He didn't show up. Man didn't show up for an important match like this. I can't believe it. Now we're out here. The second match has already been. We wanted to go in the ring on the second match, and we wanted to do it then. And they say, oh, well, Austin Idol ain't here yet. Well, I don't think Austin Idol's going to show up. You understand? That's exactly right. He knows what a tough man Jimmy Golden is. He knows that he can get hurt. He also knows that he can be humiliated here on television in front of literally millions of fans. He ran his mouth last week making the big boast that I'm going to come out here and I'm going to win on TV in front of millions of people. Well, we're waiting, Austin Idol. We're waiting, Austin Idol, and we ain't going to wait all day. And I'm telling you that now, and you can call the promoters, and you can tell them that if we don't get Austin Idol in the ring before the end of this show, I'm not waiting till the last match on today's program. I'm giving you one more chance, Austin Idol. You just got a few minutes to show up here at the television studios. And if you don't show up here at the television studios, there'll be no championship match today. My man, my Southeastern heavyweight champion, gorgeous Jimmy Golden, is going to remain the champion because Austin Idol didn't have guts enough after saying that he was going to do it on television to even show up here on television. If I was one of your fans, Austin Idol, I'd turn my back on you. I'd say you're ridiculous, man. You're yellow. You got a streak down your back, and you didn't show up for a television match. You didn't show up for your championship, and you will get no more title match. Quick TV.
Welcome to our personality profile segment of Southeastern Championship Wrestling. My special guest today is Mr. Olympia, and we'd like to ask him to come out right now. Upcoming in the arena this week, first of all, it's good to have you out for this profile. You've got a very important matchup coming in the arena, one of the most dangerous matches in pro wrestling with Arn Anderson. It's called a stretcher match, and stretcher match is just basically what it is, Charlie. If somebody's got to be hurt, that's right. Somebody's got to be down and out and be carried to the dressing room, through the doors, not halfway back, because if he gets there and he's got enough guts to get up and come back for more, then that's his prerogative. He can do it. You have got to knock the man out. He's got to be carried all the way back, not halfway, all the way back to the dressing room. And it is a very dangerous match, as Mr. Olympia pointed out. Someone will be hurt in this ring, but this situation between Mr. Olympia and Arn Anderson needs to be settled some way. It goes back a long way. I tell you what, before we talk any more to Mr. Olympia, earlier today, Rick Stewart had a chance to sit down with Arn Anderson and get his feelings on the stretcher match upcoming. So by means of videotape, let's go to that interview right now. In the arenas of Southeastern Wrestling this week, a lot of fans across the Southeast will have their first opportunity to see one of the most dangerous matches in the sport. Of course, a stretcher match involving Mr. Olympia and Arn Anderson, a very, shall we say, gruesome test of endurance and stamina. Certainly a good way to settle a lot of things that have been going on between you.
Well, Rick, it just depends on who you're talking about being dangerous. You know, somebody came up to me the other day. They said, things are rough around P-Head's house, you know. Since you dumped him as a partner, the kids have been crying. They can't have no little Debbies. They don't have the good things in life. The bills are behind. You know, his body's falling apart. I don't know what it took to get P-Head's body in the miserable shape it's in, but all I can figure is laying flat of his back on that pit group, eating donuts and drinking beer. So what I've done, P-Head, is I've devised this stretcher here now. Since you're used to laying flat on your back, doing nothing, what I'm going to do is after I get through smacking you around, which I do nightly, by the way, I'm going to put you on this stretcher, and they're going to haul you out. Now, if by chance you have more guts than what I think you have, and at any point before they get you back to the dressing room, you can flop off, and you can bring you and that ridiculous body back in the ring, and I will give you some more. So whatever it's done and whatever it's taken, P-Head, to get you used to laying flat on your back, and you've let that body dwindle down so bad, I want to add, what we're going to do is we're going to have the first ever stretcher match. What that means is I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to beat you and beat you till you cannot get up. They're going to pack you up, haul you out. All I want you to do, my friend, is enjoy the scenery. I'm sure that ceiling's going to look real nice, wherever it may be.
Let's point out these two special rules, by the way. For this match to be over, you must be carried through the dressing room door, and if you can get off the stretcher, the match does continue.
That's that. Case closed.
This is... Okay?
Well, let me tell you something, Charlie. I know his rocks are fit right across this stretcher just as good as mine. Now, I know all these people out here, all these people are behind me. They're not behind Arn Anderson, and this stretcher match is going to end it all because somebody's got to get hurt, somebody's got to be knocked out and carried all the way back. And just like he said, when his big tail's carried all the way back to that dressing room, you can say case closed because it'll be all over with. And Arn Anderson, this will fix your tail, just like I said, just as good as it will mine, and I don't plan to be riding it on the way out.
All right, Mr. Olympia. Maybe the situation will be solved between Arn Anderson and Mr. Olympia with the stretcher.
Well, Charlie, you know, for a long time, this goes a long way back. And Arn Anderson, I'm tired of looking at your pig face, and it's time that you're out of here. I live here, and I'm not going nowhere, and you can count on it.
Mr. Olympia. Ladies and gentlemen, this match is scheduled for our television main event. We're awaiting the arrival of the competitors. The defending champion, now in the ring at 238 pounds, the Southeastern heavyweight champion, gorgeous Jimmy Golden. Golden is accompanied by the greatest manager in professional wrestling, the Tennessee stud Ron Fuller. I know he's not that there in the dressing room.
When you raise my man's hand, we're waiting around here, we're waiting long enough. Go ahead, ring the bell, count it out, and we win. It's simple. Ring the bell, count it out, and we win.
Well, you got no choice.
Count it out, we ain't here. Count it out.
Wait a minute. Hold it.
Idle's not here yet, but I know that he wanted this match real bad. Now, I'm on a standby match, and I ain't going to see Idle have to forfeit a match to this. I'll go in here and take his place, and if I can beat this man, I'll forfeit the title to Austin Idle, because he ain't going to be counted out like that.
All right, we'll have to see what the referee last night thinks about that. 235 pounds. Jimmy Golden, but there's nothing but air to turnbuckle. His bullet, Bob Armstrong. Takes his man head first into the turnbuckle. Gorgeous Jimmy Golden. Where's that sniper? I don't know. Bob Armstrong made the statement, though. He and Idle had been friends. He knew Idle, whatever his problem may be, would not want to be counted out. He says if he wins the title, which I don't know the legality of that, he would forfeit the title to Idle. Well, I'm not sure if he can do that or not. So. However, we do have our TV main event right now. The Southeastern Heavyweight Championship is on the line. Bob Armstrong against Jimmy Golden. And the Tennessee stud, the self-proclaimed greatest manager in the sport, is literally beside himself. We all know the story of the bad blood between Bob Armstrong and Ron Fuller, and that goes back years and years. No love lost between these two. All right. Golden tries to the high knee. The bullet's right there. Judo chops to the upper chest to drive the champion to his knees. And now, Golden in desperation grabs a headlock. In the middle of the ring. The referee is down. All three men are down in the ring. He caught the shoulder of the leg. Look, here comes the Tennessee stud. Look, he's just scattered his walking cane across the back of Bob Armstrong. And now, Golden's taking the splintered end of it and drilling it into the forehead of Bob Armstrong. The referee calls for the bell. Referee Larry Brock trying to block Ron Fuller. Brock is hit with it. Okay. And now Bob Armstrong is left to the mercy of Ron Fuller and Jimmy Golden. Here comes Les Freeman, cut off by the Tennessee stud. And the stud catches him a suplex. Oh, Armstrong's in a bad way. The blood's starting to flow down his face from the end of the cane. Here comes Mike Jackson. Wait a minute. Fuller's called for the Lord Humongous to take care of Mike Jackson. Oh, man, we've got to get some kind of order here. They've got Bob Armstrong bleeding profusely from his forehead. And they're continuing to just pummel away at the Continental Champion, Humongous. He has backed Mike Jackson into a wall at the other end of the studio. Wait a minute. Here comes Portchop Cash. Now, Shepard going for the Lord Humongous. As Ron Fuller and Jimmy Golden continue to work to Olympia. Caught hard by Golden. Wait a minute. What's Olympia? Olympia's gone to the corner of the studio. He's got a chance trying to bring it into the ring and save Bob Armstrong. But both Golden and the start is caught by Armstrong. It's their fault. Wait a minute. Jimmy Golden, Humongous, and the Tennessee Stud all are beating a hasty retreat. There's just... This place is a mess. Let's see if we can get a little order restored. Somebody's seeing about Larry Brock right now. He's in the back.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's first TV event is one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Your referee is Larry Brock. Now entering the ring at a combined total of 469 pounds, the Southeastern Tag Team Champions, Pat and Randy Rose. Opponents at a combined total of 621 pounds, the Rat Patrol Incorporated. The Rat Patrol Incorporated. And seeing action today will be Johnny Rich and Scott Armstrong against Randy and Pat Rose, Southeastern Tag Team Champions. And what a match for television we have here. We might want to point out that it is a non-title event here on TV. The Roses have refused time and time again to put the titles on the line against the Rat Patrol. Small wonder, by the way, because the Rat Patrol has really put it to them in the arenas. They've come away with a couple of non-title wins.
And it'll be Pat Rose starting out against Scott Armstrong.
You can hear Johnny Rich now talking to the Roses just about what we were talking about a second ago, the Tag Team Championship belt. And, of course, that's very much on the mind of the Rat Patrol. Now, Pat Rose trying for a leg dive. Second sit-out from Scott Armstrong, and he rides in into the rope. Here's a little bit of the amateur background of Scott.
A little Randy Rose accusing Scott Armstrong of pulling the tights. Two outstanding tag teams right in the ring right now. One year Southeastern Tag Team Champions, Randy and Pat Rose. How many times has Randy Rose been a part of a Southeastern Tag Team Championship, Rick?
I believe it's somewhere between 6 and 8. Look at this. Whoa. Scott Armstrong blocks the field throw. A big tip up and super kick on Pat Rose. And Rose goes down just grabbing his face. He rolled right straight for those ropes. We should have had a pin right there, Scotty.
And the tag is made with Randy Rose.
I'm thinking back that Randy Rose has been tag team champion, correct me if I'm wrong, with Norvell Austin, with Ron Bass, 5 times with Dennis Condrey, and now with his blood cousin Pat Rose. That should make, I believe, 7 times he's held the Southeastern Tag Team Championship belt. Of course, Pat Rose is the product of Randy Rose. They are equal members of this team. A lot of people fail to realize that Pat Rose is an intricate part of this team. I had the opportunity to watch one of their workouts one day, and his mind is almost like a computer inside the ring. He is very, very versatile at what he does. Randy Rose, of course, now in trouble, back into the rope by Scott Armstrong as Larry Brock calls for the break. Now, Scott starts to fire away, and one half of the tag team champion, Scott Armstrong, up in the air for a high head scissors that's got the champions on the run, Charlie.
And Randy Rose looking for some place to kind of gather his thoughts together, but it's certainly not in that ring with Scott Armstrong right now. Scott will take the match to him from the start. And determined group of young athletes, the Rat Patrol Incorporated, Scott and Steve Armstrong along with Johnny Rich. And side headlock now by Scott Armstrong, clamping down with the pressure on Randy Rose. Certainly their sights are on the Southeastern Tag Team titles that are now around the waist of the Rose cousins.
Of course, they have to be considered the number one contenders for the title. Belly to back suplex on Scott Armstrong. And now Randy Rose making his way to the corner of the tag to Pat Rose. And Pat Rose now continuing. Oh, he missed the elbow. Up for a big elbow, but Scott Armstrong was ready and waiting. He moves at the last second. Another tag to Johnny Rich.
Very smart move on the part of Scott Armstrong. Scott knowing that the wind had been knocked out by that suplex. Now Johnny Rich going in. Oh, good. Scott knew he needed to make that tag with Johnny Rich to get the fresh man in the ring. Going up high in the air, connecting with the chin of Pat Rose. 2 count, and he powers out.
Almost a pin for the Rat Patrol now. Closing in on Pat Rose, one half of the Southeastern Tag Team Champions. Interesting to note that with these Tag Team Championship belts undefended within a 30-day period, a very rare thing in the Southeastern area. Most of the wrestlers here, and I know the promotion, is very anxious to have the titles defended very frequently, but they are within their rights according to the rules of the National Wrestling Alliance. Once every 30 days is all they have to do it.
Good shoulder smash coming off of the ropes by Johnny Rich. Up and over his man. Look at Pat Rose going into the air. Oh! Hip-toss takedown on both of the Roses. Johnny Rich.
And a ring full of roses. And Johnny Rich is ready to go. Randy's begging off saying, no, wait a minute. Of course, no timeouts in pro wrestling. No, the first bell to the last, you don't get a break.
No timeouts, and certainly for all of our fans watching at home, there's no doubt in your mind, I'm sure, as to who the crowd favorites are here, the Rat Patrol Incorporated, and they would like nothing more than to see the Rat Patrol upset the Rose cousins on television. Rick brought out the fact that it's been a while since the Southeastern Tag Team titles have been defended by the Roses. Head scissors, now they're back out, both men on their feet. Randy Rose looks a bit cautious going back into grips with Johnny Rich.
We saw just a little bit of the scientific ability of Randy Rose with that short arm drag. That, look at Rose tried to set him up for a little outside interference. But these Charlie, these Rat Patrol guys are keyed up and ready for this match.
2 counts.
And now, Randy Rose's attention kind of off this match, asking Pat, what happened? What happened? But Johnny Rich is right. You don't take your eyes off the Rat Patrol for a minute.
No, you do not. The tag is made with Scott Armstrong. Side headlock clamped down by Scott on Randy Rose. Don't forget, coming up, fans, our personality profile will deal with the incident that took place last week at Southeastern Television Wrestling. Actually, the incident did not take place here on TV, but part of it did.
Big body press from Scott Armstrong, too. Pat Rose tried for the save, almost a win on TV. You got to think, if they could beat him on TV, the Roses would almost have to put the titles up against him.
Just about. There's no doubt about that.
Certainly when that 30-day period is up and the promotion chooses the number one team with a non-title win, especially on TV, it'd have to be the Rat Patrol Incorporated. Well, they've met several times in 6-man tag action and, of course, in non-title matches in the arenas, and the Rat Patrol has managed to squeak away with a win.
Right now, it's Scott Armstrong clamping down with the pressure. Randy Rose rolls his man over. Certainly, with these two teams and the craftiness that is being displayed by both teams right now, the ring official Larry Brock has his hands full.
Well, Larry's, of course, the top arbiter. Wait a minute. A leapfrog from Randy Rose. He looked like he may have been trying to set him for a monkey flip, but Scott Armstrong was just a little bit ahead of him.
That's as your good friend Gordon says so often, human chess at his finest. And Scott was just a little bit ahead on that jump.
And the temper of Randy Rose is beginning to flare. A little consultation with cousin Pat Rose. And we have the tag made with Johnny Rich. Rich in. Side headlock on Randy Rose. Rat Patrol really showing that they have the same teamwork capabilities of this cousin team.
Still a little later this hour, we'll be talking, well, actually not talking to, but we have the previously recorded comments of the Tennessee stud Ron Fuller. We provided time for him. He's gone out at his own expense, hired a camera crew, and I'm interested to see what this tape is all about. He said that he has some surprising news for the fans here in the Southeast. I'll be real curious a little later this hour to see exactly what does go on.
We're talking about the boycotting Tennessee stud. Side headlock by Johnny Rich again. Because of the fines levied, and I think because of some other reasons it's not being named right now, the Tennessee stud and his stable have decided to stay at home today.
It would probably have been the safest measure for him because there was a lot of very irritated people, especially Austin Idol is still just absolutely beside himself about what happened last week. We'll talk more about that later this hour. Johnny Rich now in control. Randy Rose scoops him from behind, and a count of number 1.5, maybe 2 on Johnny Rich as referee Larry Brock keeps a close watch on the action. Certainly things are not going in the favor of the Rose cousins at this particular point in the match.
Not only is Austin Idol upset about last week's happenings, but I think another box of salt has been poured into the wound of Bob Armstrong between he and the Tennessee stud.
Well, that's, and we've talked about it before, the hate and the tension between these two is of long-standing duration. It goes back, 6 or 7 years, actually, for those fans who followed Southeastern Wrestling over the past years. Now, Johnny Rich up with the leapfrog. Again, he leapfrogs Randy Rose. Ooh, what a right hand.
And now over to Pat Rose. Johnny Rich is on fire.
Gosh, he got him right on the back of the neck. Johnny Rich has got to be out on his feet from that belly to back.
Pat Rose comes in like a wild man.
Bill Ash has come out from the dressing room just out of camera range. He's standing a little off to the side of the TV studio watching this match very closely. His own difference. Oh, Rich was ready for that one, Charlie.
But Rich is virtually helpless. That suplex took, oh, boy, you know that took a lot out of Johnny Rich.
Johnny Rich fighting for all he's worth, but the Roses have got him out at a serious disadvantage. Randy Rose powering him back into the corner. And now some of the famous double team skills of the Rose cousins. Yep, definitely coming into bear right now. Trapped in the corner of the Roses is someplace that no wrestler wants to be.
No, look at Johnny Rich scrambling. He makes the tag with Scott Armstrong. Scott Armstrong in, putting the boots to Pat Rose. Down to Randy Rose, right to the side of the head, and to the side of the head again on Pat Rose. All 4 men in the ring.
Johnny Rich squared off with Randy Rose as referee Larry Brock tries to get some kind of order back. A big shoulder tackle that's knocked both Scott and Pat Rose down on the canvas. Randy Rose, it looks like Pat Rose may be unconscious. Randy's dragged him over the top of Scott Armstrong. Wait a minute. From the dressing room, here comes Steve Armstrong. Look at this.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Steve Armstrong has reversed that 2, 3. Look at this. All right. Armstrong and Pat Rose were knocked out. Randy Rose thought he pulled a fast one, but Steve beat him to the punch.
Randy Rose thought they had the match locked up.
But Bill Ash now in the ring furiously protesting the referee Larry Brock, but it stands as is. A win for the Rat Patrol over the Southeastern Tag Team Champions in our very first match today on TV. What an upset.
And speaking of upset, here comes Bill Ash.
You said! They said! Everybody else just said! Steve